when we're angry or when we have differences. Do we ask ourselves, if the Prophet ﷺ was in your position and somebody is shouting at you or treating you harshly, what would the Prophet ﷺ do? Wouldn't he show a great deal of patience and forgiveness? Reminding us of what the Prophet ﷺ did when he gathered people after the opening of Mecca. And they asked them, what do you think I'm going to do to you? I all know the story. And they say, goodness, because you are an honored person, brother, an honored brother, the son of an honored brother. He said, I only say unto you this day what Prophet Joseph said to his brothers, and quoted from Surah Yusuf. There is no blame on you today. May Allah forgive you all. You go. You are all free. In the beginning of Da'wah, the Prophet ﷺ saw an old woman who was trying to carry a bundle of firewood. So he said, my auntie, can I carry that for you? She said, yes, son. He carried the firewood for her. She led him until she reached her home. So he put the firewood bundle in front of her house. Then just tried to pay him something, a couple of dirhams as a reward. And he said, no, auntie, may Allah bless you. They said, all right, since you refuse to take money, I'll give you a valuable advice. In this city here, there's a man called Muhammad. He claims to be a prophet. Don't believe in him. So the Prophet smiled and he said, my auntie, I am Muhammad. The woman reacted immediately. Indeed, you are on a high pedestal of moral character. You have a great character, just like the Quran gave that description to him. But you compare that with others who had at least some influence of the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ. Harun al-Rashid, the famous Khalifa, under whose reign there was a great deal of advancement in various areas. And his servant was helping him to make wudu by using, a container of water. But then his hand shook and the container fell on Harun's, the caliph, hand, and it injured it. So Harun al-Rashid got angry. But look at the servant who used the Quran to reach people's heart. A servant, and how can he freely and easily quote from the Quran? So he reminded Harun al-Rashid of what the Quran gives as a description or profile of the true believers. He said, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, which means praising for those who control their anger. So Harun al-Rashid, okay, I control my anger. But the servant went further to quote also from the ayah, completed the ayah, which says, and those who forgive others. Because he was worried, maybe he can control his anger now, but give it to him really next day. So that he wanted forgiveness, and that is part of the ayah. So Harun Rashid said, I forgive you. But then the servant continued with the remaining part of the ayah, which says, and Allah loves those who do good, who go beyond just the requirement. Go beyond that. He says, you are free for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to conclude then, the third volume, many of you have come here, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you so much, and the society that you're living in provided you with freedom, with opportunity. But if they find, more importantly, that you're paying back at least by having your own spouse, your own children, as good example of morality, they would hope that their children would be like your children and their spouses would be like your spouse. Two incidents that the Sheikh ended with. One in the masjid in Paris, when a young boy, about 12 years old, went to the imam and he said, I want to embrace Islam. I want to take Shahada. He said, you're coming by yourself? Or? He said, why are you doing that? He said, I do that because my mother loves me to be a Muslim, and I love my mother. He said, where is your mother? He said, outside the masjid. He said, no, bring her. And then he asked her, why do you want your child to accept Islam, even though she did not want herself? She said, because my neighbor is a Moroccan woman. She had 2 sons, and whenever they get out of the house, they bow down to kiss her hand and her head. When they come back from the university or whatever they're doing, they do the same. So I hoped that my son would be like her sons, so that when I get old, she doesn't just throw me away in a nursing home, but look after me as these kids doing to their mother. The second and final story in California. A lady was owning an apartment complex having like 6 apartments, and she has like a laundry underneath the building. And at one point of time she said, I accept Islam. People ask her, why do you want to be a Muslim? She said, I noted that the cleanest clothes, even underwear, are those of the Muslim residents of these apartments. And when I asked them, they spoke to me about the emphasis in Islam about hygiene, personal cleanliness, clothes, and so on. So I was so impressed that I accepted Islam. So the conclusion, again, reminder of the 3rd volume, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us all of these ni'am, provisions. We should be thankful not only by words, but translate that into deeds, and we should pay back the society. How do we pay back the society? The greatest gift we can give to the communities and nations where we as Muslims are living is to give them this moral grounding, moral gift that they can themselves benefit from and their children in the future can also enjoy.